Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about macroeconomic fluctuations of tourism industry. As one of the world's leading international financial centers, Hong Kong's service-oriented economy is characterized by low taxation, near free port trade and well-established international financial market. With a central location in East Asia and with a rapidly growing mainland China as its hinterland, the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region is an international business, trade and financial hub. Building on its traditional free market economic policy, Hong Kong has developed into a modern, vibrant and cosmopolitan services economy, underpinning the role of the city as a global business platform.
From 2009 to 2014, GDP is generally increasing from 215 billions of US dollars to 263 billions of US dollars, except that GDP in year 2010 is a bit fewer than year 2009. The graph of GDP per capita looks almost the same as the graph of GDP at that same period. From 2009 to 2014, the unemployment rate went down from 5% to about 3%. Productivity in Hong Kong increased to 145.50 index points in 2012 from 144.50 index points in 2011. In fact, from the graph of Consumer Price Index or CPI measures changes in the prices paid by consumers for a basket of goods and services, we can verify the existence of the inflation.
Salmon, this one? $13.
It's that time of the week again when Hong Kong resident Edwina Antonio makes her regular run at the nearby wet market. If there was anything that's been as constant as change in her 14 years in Hong Kong, laments Edwina, it is the soaring price of everything here, from the fresh meats to the produce.
When I first arrived in 1989, our budget per day is only $150. We can buy chicken or fish and vegetable. But at present, $150 is not enough. We need around $200 to $250 to feed at least 13 people.
And it doesn't stop there. The electricity bill at the shelter house she manages in Sheung Wan had gone up as well. Her monthly rent up at least 15% since the shelter opened in 2011. A big part of Hong Kong's rising costs rests on this, the Hong Kong dollar. It is pegged to the US dollar for 30 years now, and which in recent years has resulted in high inflation and surging home prices. Now, some economists say that peg has to go, especially now the US economy struggles to overcome its poor fiscal position.
Well, most of the food items in Hong Kong are imported from mainland China, about 70%. I believe water is also imported from mainland China, 70 to 80%. So if the renminbi goes up and the Hong Kong dollar goes down together with the dollar, that's the problem. So the peg may not be the most suitable anymore going forward with the increasing integration with China.
Some economists even think now may be a good time for the Hong Kong dollar to track the rising Chinese yuan, as China dominates Hong Kong's trade. The rising yuan has also kept inflation in the mainland pick up more slowly than Hong Kong's. Other economists, though, argue pegging to yet an inconvertible yuan could destroy Hong Kong's role as an international financial center. For now, Edwina tries to find little ways of her own to save on costs in Hong Kong. Thankfully, it's autumn now, when shutting the air conditioning unit wouldn't be so bad as it had been over the hot summer months. Kathy Yang, CCTV, Hong Kong.
Price levels rise due to increases in the cost of wages and raw materials. Increase in wages caused the higher purchasing power and consumer spending. Demand of public increase that leads to rise of goods price and thus causes inflation. Hong Kong's global foreign direct investment inflows ranked the third among world economies in 2012, according to the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development's World Investment Report 2013. A macroeconomic policy is a government policy that curbs macroeconomic problems such as inflation and recession. Macroeconomic policy is commonly implemented to the economy of the country via two sets of tools, monetary policy or fiscal policy. Depending for the purpose of expansion or contraction, monetary policy is the government attempt to increase or decrease the supply of money in the economy. This is usually through the means of central or government bank and commercial banks, in which the central or government bank buys or sells bonds from and to the commercial banks. A bond is a form of loan, ranging from short-term, which mature in 90 days and below, or a long-term loan, which mature in 10 years and above. The government can increase or decrease the pool of money in the economy by increasing or decreasing the frequency of open market operation, which is the process of selling and buying bond, increasing or decreasing the reserve ratio, which is the percentage of income that must be kept by the commercial banks as a saving by the central bank, increasing or decreasing the discount rate, which is the percentage of interest charged to the bonds by central bank to the commercial banks. As an assurance to the policy, commercial banks are mandatory to purchase or sell bond to and from the central bank. Another tool for macroeconomic policy is fiscal policy, which is a policy that does not increase or decrease the money supply in the economy to overcome or minimize economic problems. A fiscal policy is a government policy to manipulate the flow of money in the economy of the country to address the problems of economy. Depending on the purpose of expansionary or contractionary, the government may increases or decreases the taxation imposed on the consumers and investors, increases or decreases the government expenditure on social infrastructure, buildings and development, increases or decreases the public debt, which is a form of government borrowing from the public with a return of higher interest. With a higher flow of money in the economy, the government will be able to raise the economic activities, therefore raising the GDP to minimize the recession, vice versa to the inflation. This is a chart of Hong Kong inflation rate from 2009 to 2014, which Hong Kong is considered to be under a healthy or government-incurred inflation rate in most of the time, which is under 5%. Except for a recession that can be seen in mid-year of 2009 and overinflations that happened in the mid-year of 2011 and 2013 respectively. In terms of taxation, Hong Kong government didn't make any changes in it, though there were recession and inflation's problem in the country, which personal income tax rate remains at 15% and corporate tax rate remains at 16.5%. In terms of government public debt, in 2010, government public debt was lower compared to the other years, as Hong Kong faced economy recession in the year before, and so the government reduced the money borrowed from public to increase the flow of cash in the economy, in order to raise the economic activities and overcome recession problem. In the years after, Hong Kong government raised back the public debt to maintain the country's inflation in a healthy level. In terms of government spending, depending on the situation of the economy, Hong Kong government had put in some effort to overcome the economic problems. Such as in the mid-year of 2009, government increased their spending to provide public with more basic needs as Hong Kong was facing recession at the time, and also reduced government spending in the mid-year of 2011 and 2013 respectively as Hong Kong was facing high inflation at that time. The result of implementing policies mentioned above is very delightful. Those policies successfully confined the inflation rate at certain low and healthy levels, and kept unemployment rate going down to till slightly over 3% at the end of 2013. In the meantime, GDP and GDP per capita remained at a very robust tendency to go up while managing to make debt ratio decrease over the years. Thus, we consider that the policies adopted by Hong Kong government are successful in terms of dealing with inflation problem. From 2009 to 2014, Hong Kong is showing increasing in GDP and inflation rate is increasing from 2009. As for unemployment rate, it went down from 5% in 2009 to 3% in 2014. It's shown that Hong Kong GDP and productivity is increasing and unemployment is decreasing, which result in inflation. Inflation happening in Hong Kong cause several factors such as increase in consumer price index, increase on wages cause high purchasing power and demand of public cause good price rising. In order to control Hong Kong macroeconomics problem on inflations, monetary policies and fiscal policies has been developed by the government. As for the result, the developed by the government has successfully remained the inflation rate at low levels and unemployment rate keep going down to slightly over than 3% at the end of 2013. While GDP and GDP per capita is still remain to go up while managing to make debt ratio decrease over the years. Thus, the policies adopted by Hong Kong government are successful in dealing with inflation problem.